Welcome to our channel. We are so glad you found your way here. Let us help you fall asleep. Let's begin with the Roman hearth. Finding peace in the protection of the ancient Lares. Take a slow, deep breath in and release it. Let the noise of today fall away as we step back, not just hours or years, but centuries, into the vast theater of crime and punishment in ancient Rome. If you genuinely like our videos, please hit like and subscribe. The Roman hearth serves as a profound emblem of domestic stability and spiritual connection within ancient Roman society. Central to this concept is the sacred flame, a symbol of the home and family life, tended to by the household's matron. This flame represented not just warmth and sustenance, but also the divine presence of the Lares, the protective deities of the household. It is within the domestic sphere that this relationship flourished, binding the family unit to both the physical and spiritual realms. These ancient figures were revered through rituals and offerings, reinforcing the notion that the home was a microcosm of the broader universe. It provided a sense of security against both external threats and internal discord. Ritual practices, often conducted at the hearth, fostered a connection between the living and their ancestors. In this way, the hearth became a focal point for memory and tradition, encapsulating the essence of family lineage. The physical structure surrounding the hearth embodied the architectural ingenuity of the Romans, combining functionality with aesthetic appeal. The placement of the hearth within the home was intentional, often located in the center, symbolizing its pivotal role in daily life. This arrangement facilitated communal gathering, reinforcing social bonds and the continuity of cultural practices across generations. Such significance renders the Roman hearth an enduring symbol of unity and protection in the ancient world. These guardians, known as Lares, occupied a central role in domestic life. Revered as protectors of the household, they ensured the safety and well-being of families. Each home, regardless of its size or status, contained a small shrine dedicated to these deities, a focal point for daily rituals and offerings. The presence of Lares served as a reminder of the connection between the divine and the mundane, imbuing daily activities with a sense of purpose and protection. Rituals performed at these shrines often included the lighting of incense and the placement of food offerings. Such practices were believed to invite the favor of the Lares, fostering harmony within the household. In this context, the hearth became more than just a source of warmth. It transformed into a sacred space, integral to the family's identity and continuity. The Lares were often depicted as youthful figures, clad in traditional attire, symbolizing vitality and resilience. Their imagery adorned various household items, reinforcing their protective presence. In times of uncertainty, families would invoke these guardians, seeking solace in their watchful eyes. This cultural reverence for the Lares extended beyond individual homes, reflecting broader societal values. Their significance reinforced communal bonds, serving as a silent testament to the shared aspirations and collective well-being of ancient Roman society. Domestic worship in Roman society occupied a central role in the daily lives of its citizens, intricately woven into the fabric of household existence. Within these intimate spaces, the Lares served not only as protective spirits, but also as symbols of continuity and stability. Each home housed its own shrine, a focal point where family members gathered to honor their ancestors and seek guidance from these divine guardians. This practice fostered a sense of belonging, reinforcing familial ties across generations. In the broader context of Roman culture, domestic worship reflected the societal emphasis on piety and reverence toward the gods. Rituals were often simple yet profound, involving offerings of food, wine, or incense. Underscoring the reciprocal nature of this relationship, the act of worship created a sacred environment where the mundane transformed into the divine, allowing families to connect with their heritage and the greater cosmos. The integration of these practices into daily routines illustrated the Romans' understanding of the interconnectedness of the divine and the earthly realms. Household rituals were not merely personal. They resonated throughout the community, echoing the collective memory and shared values of the society. Through the veneration of the Lares, citizens articulated their hopes, fears, and aspirations, creating a spiritual foundation that supported both individual and communal identity. Central to Roman daily life, the hearth served as more than a mere source of warmth and sustenance. It represented the heart of the household, a sacred space where familial bonds were nurtured and traditions were passed down through generations. This region, often adorned with offerings to the Lares, became a focal point for domestic rituals that reinforced social structures and collective memory. The practicalities of life revolved around it, with cooking, gathering, and storytelling taking place in its embrace. The act of preparing meals was imbued with ritualistic significance, transforming simple ingredients into communal experiences. Families would gather around the hearth, sharing food and conversation, reinforcing connections that were vital for the societal fabric. Within this intimate setting, the Lares were invoked as protectors of the home, fostering a sense of security and stability. It was believed that their presence ensured the prosperity of the household, influencing everything from fertility to financial well-being. These protective spirits established a link between the divine and the mundane, bridging the gap between the heavenly and earthly realms. In times of hardship, the hearth remained a steadfast refuge, symbolizing hope and resilience. As flames flickered in the quiet of night, it offered solace, embodying the enduring spirit of Roman culture and the values that defined their existence. Archaeological discoveries of Roman hearths reveal much about daily life in ancient households. These structures, often found at the center of dwellings, served not only as sources of warmth, but also as vital areas for cooking and communal gathering. Excavations across various sites have uncovered remnants of terracotta and stone, meticulously shaped to create efficient fires that sustained families through the changing seasons. Artifacts surrounding these hearths, such as pottery and tools, provide insight into the dietary practices and culinary techniques of the time. The presence of carbonized food remains hints at the diverse diets enjoyed by the Romans, including grains, legumes, and meats. Of meats, often seasoned with local herbs, the careful arrangement of these items suggests that hearths were also places of social interaction, where stories were exchanged and traditions passed down through generations. In urban contexts, the placement of these hearths indicates a sophisticated understanding of space and community. They were often strategically located to maximize heat distribution, facilitating the coexistence of multiple families within shared structures. In rural settings, the hearth represented stability, a guiding light in the vast countryside. Each discovery contributes to a broader understanding of how these ancient people connected with their environment, revealing a profound respect for both the natural world and the bonds forged among its inhabitants. Fire served as a central symbol in Roman culture, representing both life and mortality. It illuminated homes and temples, providing warmth and comfort against the chill of the night. This element was not merely practical, it held deep spiritual significance, embodying the essence of the Lares, the protective spirits of the household. Rituals surrounding fire were commonplace, with offerings made to ensure the continued favor of these deities. In domestic spaces, the hearth acted as a focal point, grounding daily life. It was here that families gathered, sharing meals and stories, forging connections that transcended generations. The flames flickering within these confines symbolized unity and continuity, a sacred space where the past, present, and future converged. Public ceremonies often included fire as an integral aspect, invoking the presence of Vesta, the goddess of the hearth. Her eternal flame, tended to by Vestal virgins, was a cornerstone of Roman religious practice, signifying the vitality and stability of the state. This duality of fire, as both a source of domestic warmth and a powerful symbol of divine protection, encapsulated the Romans' intricate relationship with their environment. It was a force that nurtured life while simultaneously reminding them of their own mortality, a delicate balance that defined their existence. Rituals associated with the Lares unfolded with meticulous care, embodying both reverence and practicality. Daily offerings were made at household shrines, small altars adorned with fresh food, wine, and flowers. These acts served as symbolic gestures of gratitude, acknowledging the guardian's role in the family's well-being. Each dawn, as sunlight crested the rooftops, of night, shouts of gratitude acknowledging the guardian's role in the family's well-being. Each dawn, as sunlight crested the rooftops, the faithful would gather to share whispered prayers and quiet reflections, their voices merging with the soft rustle of morning air. Significant festivals punctuated the calendar, drawing communities together to celebrate the protective presence of the Lares. During these gatherings, participants would partake in feasts, recounting tales of ancestors, while the aroma of cooked meats and baked goods filled the atmosphere. This communal aspect reinforced social bonds, weaving a collective memory of shared history. Ceremonies often included the lighting of sacred fires, representing transformation and purification. Flames flickered against the twilight, illuminating faces filled with hope and devotion. As the evening deepened, the smoke spiraled upward, carrying their intentions and prayers toward the divine. These moments of connection fostered a sense of belonging, a reminder of the intertwining of individual lives with the broader tapestry of existence. In this region, the presence of the Lares remained a constant thread, echoing through generations, reassuring the faithful that they were never truly alone. The Lares served as guardians of the household, embodying the protective spirit that enveloped family life in ancient Rome. They were not merely symbols of reverence, but integral participants in daily activities, overseeing the mundane and the sacred alike. Each home housed a small shrine, or lararium, where offerings were made, ensuring the continual favor of these deities. This act of devotion reinforced familial bonds, intertwining the sacred with the everyday. Within these walls, rituals unfolded, creating a harmonious atmosphere Families gathered around the hearth, sharing meals and stories, with the Lares providing a watchful presence. This connection fostered a collective identity, shaping the very essence of family dynamics. Children learnt the importance of duty and respect through the rituals surrounding these deities, instilling a sense of continuity and tradition. In times of uncertainty, the Lares offered solace, reminding individuals of their roots and the enduring legacy of their ancestors. The protection they provided extended beyond the physical realm, serving as a source of emotional stability. Each household, in turn, became a microcosm of Roman society, reflecting broader cultural values and norms. Avisum thleeps and pass. The cow of night. The evolution of domestic architecture in ancient Rome showcases a remarkable adaptation to both social needs and environmental factors. Early dwellings were predominantly simple structures, often constructed with local materials such as mud, brick, and wood. These basic forms gradually transformed as the influence of wealth and social status became more pronounced. The emergence of the domus marked a significant milestone in residential design, characterized by a central atrium that welcomed light and air. This layout reflected not only functionality, but also a desire for aesthetics. Open courtyards allowed for private gardens, which served as tranquil retreats amid urban life. This region also saw the proliferation of the insulae, multi-story apartment buildings that catered to the growing population. As urban density increased, these structures became essential for accommodating the diverse classes of society. Simple yet effective, they often featured shared amenities, allowing for communal living while addressing the practicalities of space and resource management. With the passage of time, architectural innovations such as concrete and the arch revolutionized construction techniques. These advancements enabled the creation of expansive public baths and grand villas, further illustrating the interplay between domestic life and the broader civic landscape. The continued evolution of these forms underscores the dynamic relationship between inhabitants and their environment, reflecting changes in lifestyle and societal values throughout the ages. The Lararium served as a focal point within Roman homes, a dedicated space where the Lares were honored and worshipped. This sacred area, often embellished with offerings and effigies, reflected the intimate connection between domestic life and spiritual beliefs. Positioned strategically in the home, it provided an accessible place for daily rituals, allowing families to seek guidance and protection from their ancestral guardians. In its simplicity, the Larium functioned as both a shrine and a reminder of the past, fostering a sense of continuity amidst the ever-changing fabric of Roman society. Families would routinely gather around this space, invoking blessings and expressing gratitude. The act of lighting incense or placing food offerings formed a vital aspect of these practices, nurturing a relationship with the divine that was both personal and communal. These spaces varied in size and complexity, ranging from small niches in humble abodes to elaborate installations in the homes of the wealthy. Decoration often included frescoes and statues, representing not only the Lares themselves but also various household deities. Such adornments emphasized the importance of these figures in maintaining harmony within the home. The deities. In essence, the Lararium encapsulated the essence of Roman spirituality, serving not merely as a physical structure, but as a vital part of the cultural and social landscape, bridging the earthly and the divine. Greek religion profoundly impacted Roman hearth practices, shaping the rituals and beliefs surrounding domestic worship. The Romans encountered Greek deities, adopting and adapting them to their own cultural framework, leading to a blending of traditions that enriched their spiritual lives. In this transition, household gods like the Lares assumed roles reminiscent of Greek household deities, such as Hestia, who presided over the hearth and home. Rituals performed at the Lares often mirrored those in Greek households, where offerings were made to secure protection and favor from the divine. Incense, food, and small tokens were common, reflecting a deep-seated desire for harmony and prosperity. Such practices underscored the belief that the divine presence was as much a part of everyday life as the hearth itself. Within this context, the household became a sanctuary, a space where the sacred and the mundane converged. The reverence held for the hearth nurtured a sense of continuity, linking generations through shared customs and beliefs. This connection fostered a communal identity, instilling a sense of belonging and shared purpose amongst family members. As Greek influence permeated Roman culture, the domestic sphere transformed into a vital site for spiritual engagement, allowing individuals to forge connections between their lives and the broader cosmos. Thus, the hearth emerged as more than a source of warmth. It became a crucible for faith and familial unity. The domestic sphere served as a vital intersection of gender and religion, shaping the roles and identities within the household. Women, often seen as the custodians of the hearth, played a central role in rituals dedicated to the Lares, the protective spirits residing within the home. This sacred space became a site of devotion, where offerings were made and prayers whispered, reinforcing the connection between daily life and spiritual practice. Within these walls, men and women navigated their distinct yet complementary responsibilities. While men were tasked with external affairs and public worship, women maintained the internal sanctity of the home. They cultivated a sense of belonging through their attentiveness to the Lares, creating a protective aura around the family and ensuring continuity of traditions. This interplay of domesticity and spirituality highlighted the essential contributions of both genders in fostering a harmonious household. Ceremonial activities often took place during significant occasions, marking transitions in family life. The reverence for the Lares not only solidified community bonds, but also reflected broader societal values. Rituals were imbued with meaning, connecting generations through shared beliefs and practices. The intertwining of gender roles and religious observance within this intimate environment underscores the complexity of ancient Roman life, revealing a nuanced landscape where personal devotion intersected with collective identity. The Lares occupied a unique position within the pantheon of Roman household worship. Distinct from other deities, these protective spirits were revered not only for their guardianship, but also for their intimate connection to the family unit. Unlike more prominent gods, such as Jupiter or Mars, who commanded grand temples and public veneration, the Lares thrived in the secluded corners of homes, often adorned with small altars. Their essence lay in the daily rituals, in the offerings of food and wine, which fostered a sense of continuity and belonging. Older Thilt of Nices and Honsast, older Dex is demanded elaborate ceremonies and significant sacrifices, often associated with public spectacles. This divergence highlights the personal nature of devotion toward the Lares, focusing on domestic tranquility rather than societal grandeur. It is within this space that families sought solace, turning to the Lares for guidance during moments of uncertainty or strife. The reverence for these spirits reflects a broader understanding of divinity in Roman culture, where the divine was not solely a matter of state or grandeur, but intertwined with the fabric of everyday life. The common household, a site of both joy and sorrow, became a sanctuary, with the Lares embodying the protective essence of familial bonds. In this light, the Lares emerge not merely as guardians, but as integral participants in the narrative of personal and communal identity. This notion of protection extends to the concept of the genius, an individual's guardian spirit deeply embedded in Roman thought. Each person possessed a unique genius, a divine essence believed to guide and inspire throughout their lives. This spirit was not simply an abstract idea. It represented a fundamental connection between the individual and the divine, an ever-present companion in daily existence. The presence of the genius engendered a sense of personal responsibility and agency. Rituals and offerings were made to honor this spirit, reinforcing the bond between the individual and the ethereal realm. In homes, small shrines often featured dedicated spaces for these offerings, reflecting the importance of nurturing such a relationship. The act of honoring the genius was an acknowledgement of the divine influence on personal destiny and character. Within this framework, the Lares and the genius intersected, providing a duality of protection and guidance. The Lares safeguarded the household and its communal identity, while the genius focused on the individual's path. This relationship fostered a holistic understanding of existence, where personal aspirations and communal legacies intertwined seamlessly. Through these beliefs, Romans found solace and strength, cultivating a profound sense of belonging and purpose. The sacred was woven into the fabric of everyday life, creating a harmonious balance between the seen and unseen. Ancestor worship served as a cornerstone in the traditions surrounding the Roman hearth. It created a unique space where the living maintained a connection with those who had come before. This connection was manifested through rituals and offerings made to the Lares, the guardian spirits of the household. These entities embodied the essence of lineage, representing the values and memories of ancestors that shaped familial identity. The Resor and Wespeña values and memories of ancestors that shaped familial identity. At the heart of domestic life, the hearth symbolized warmth and sustenance. Families gathered around it, sharing meals and stories, instilling a sense of unity. Each flicker of flame acted as a reminder of the spirits watching over them, guiding and protecting the household. Rituals often involved placing small figurines, called Lares, on the hearth, serving as physical representations of these guardians. The act of making offerings, such as food, wine, or incense, was a way to honor and invite the presence of ancestors into the everyday. This reverence for the past contributed to a sense of continuity and stability, reinforcing the importance of family ties. The customs surrounding ancestor worship illustrated how deeply intertwined personal and communal identities were within the Roman world. Through these practices, the living engaged in a dialogue with the past, ensuring that the wisdom and virtues of those who had come before remained integral to their lives. Everyday offerings served as a vital connection between the realms of the living and the divine. These simple yet profound acts of devotion reflected a commitment to honoring the Lares, the guardians of the household and the community. Small altars adorned with food, wine, and fragrant flowers became focal points of daily life, imbuing ordinary routines with layers of meaning that transcended the mundane. Communities would gather around these altars, fostering a sense of unity and shared purpose. The act of offering was not merely about appeasing the spirits, but represented gratitude for the blessings received and a request for continued protection. This exchange was woven into the fabric of social interaction, reinforcing bonds among individuals and families as they collectively participated in these rituals. Odeity and Gestarted alike, The presence of these offerings evoked a sense of continuity amid the changing tides of life. The Lares served as reminders of the ancestors who once inhabited these spaces, their influence palpable through the generations. The remnants of these offerings, often uncovered in archaeological sites, provide a glimpse into the values and priorities of ancient Romans. They reveal a society that valued connection, memory, and the interplay between the spiritual and the physical realms, preserving a legacy that resonates through time. The fire served as a central metaphor for domestic stability, embodying warmth, safety, and communal gathering in many Roman households. The hearth was not merely a source of heat, it represented the very essence of family life. This vital element provided sustenance and comfort, fostering a nurturing environment where relationships could flourish. The flickering flames became a symbol of both protection and continuity, illuminating the space where generations converged. Rituals performed around it emphasized the importance of maintaining harmony within the home, allowing inhabitants to honor their ancestors while shaping their own identities. The connection between the hearth and the Lares, the protective spirits, further elucidates this bond, as offerings were often made to ensure the family's well-being. In this region, the physical remnants of ancient hearths stand as silent witnesses to daily life, encapsulating stories of resilience and stability. These structures, often adorned with intricate mosaics, reflect the aesthetic values of the time while serving practical purposes. The glow of the fire, in its gentle flicker, represents the heartbeat of domestic life, offering solace amid the uncertainties of existence. In a world marked by change, it became a steadfast reminder of home, forging a link between past and present, as inhabitants sought peace and connection within their sacred spaces. The ritual of the daily sacrifice to the Lares played a pivotal role in maintaining this connection. Each morning, offerings of bread, wine, and incense were meticulously arranged upon the household altar, a space resonating with the energy of familial devotion. These gestures, simple yet profound, reinforced the bond between the living and the spirits of the ancestors. It was a sacred act, reflecting respect and gratitude toward those who had once inhabited the same spaces. The act of sacrifice was not merely a formality, it served as a conduit for communication. As the flames flickered, releasing fragrant tendrils of smoke, it symbolized the transfer of earthly sustenance to the divine realm. The atmosphere surrounding this ritual brimmed with reverence, as families whispered prayers, invoking protection and favor from their Lares. This practice created a rhythm in daily life, a continuity that resonated deeply within the hearts of its participants. Each offering signified not just a request for blessings, but a reaffirmation of identity, culture, and continuity. Within these moments of quiet reflection, a profound stillness enveloped the household, echoing the timeless nature of belief and tradition. In this sanctified space, the past lingered, guiding the present and illuminating the path forward, fostering an enduring sense of peace. The Lares and the Penates existed in a delicate balance, each serving distinct yet interconnected roles within Roman spirituality. The Lares, guardians of the household and its members, inspired a sense of security and well-being. They watched over daily activities, their presence woven into the very fabric of domestic life. Offerings of food and wine adorned altars, sustaining these protectors and inviting their continued vigilance. Men in contrast, the Penates represented the guardians of the storeroom, ensuring the prosperity and abundance of the household. Their focus on sustenance and wealth fostered an atmosphere of stability, linking the family's fortune to their favor. Rituals dedicated to these deities often occurred during significant agricultural milestones, a reminder of the cyclical nature of life and the essential connection between community and land. This relationship between the Lares and the Penates transcended mere functionality. It underscored a broader cultural ethos. Together, they reinforced a sense of continuity and heritage, reminding individuals of the importance of nurturing both the material and spiritual aspects of existence. In Roman homes, their dual guardianship forged a sanctuary where the mundane and the sacred intertwined, creating a foundation of security and abundance that resonated through generations. Each household, in its unique way, became a microcosm of the broader Roman experience, rooted in reverence and tradition. Within the realm of Roman poetry, the Lares emerge as enduring symbols of domesticity and protection. Poets often invoked these deities to illustrate the intimate connection between the divine and everyday life. They served not merely as guardians of the hearth, but as reflections of the values and aspirations of Roman society. Such representations underline the significance of familial bonds and the sanctity of home. Virgil, in his narrative epic, frequently alluded to the Lares, embedding them within the fabric of his tales. Their presence in the text acts as a reminder of the shared heritage and collective memory that shaped Roman identity. The reverence for these protective spirits transcends mere superstition, revealing the deep emotional ties that citizens had with their ancestors and the spiritual realm. Horace, too, articulated the Lares' importance through vivid imagery that highlighted their role as patrons of peace and prosperity. In his verses, the deities symbolized the quietude sought amidst the chaos of life, illustrating a longing for stability within the shifting tides of fortune. These poetic references create a poignant dialogue with the past, where the Lares stand as both guardians and witnesses to the joys and sorrows of the human experience. Their enduring presence subtly weaves together individual stories, contributing to the collective narrative of Roman life. Artistic representations of the Lares are found across various mediums, illustrating their significant role in domestic life. Frescoes, mosaics, and sculptures often depict these guardians in intimate domestic settings, embodying the protective spirit that enveloped Roman households. And for many instances, they are portrayed as youthful figures, adorned with attributes symbolizing fertility and prosperity, emphasizing their guardianship over family and fortune. These depictions serve more than aesthetic purposes. They function as a connection between the material and the spiritual realms. In homes, small shrines known as Lareria often housed these images, creating a focal point for daily worship and offerings. The details in these artworks reflect not just the values of the time, but also the aspirations of the families who commissioned them. In public spaces, the Lares appear in reliefs and monumental artwork, often associated with significant civic events. Their presence in these grand displays underscores a collective reverence, suggesting that the well-being of the city was intricately linked to these deities. This connection emphasizes the belief that the divine actively participated in the everyday lives of individuals and communities. The continuity of these representations across time highlights the Lares' enduring symbolism, embodying the intersection of personal devotion and communal identity within the fabric of Roman society. Political power in ancient Rome was intricately linked to the Hearth, a space often designated for the veneration of the Lares. This sacred area served as a physical representation of authority and governance, underscoring the belief that leadership was divinely sanctioned. Leaders often sought to align themselves with the protective qualities of the Lares, reinforcing their status through public displays of piety and devotion. This region, where family and state interests intertwined, became a focal point for ceremonies and rituals. In doing so, it not only fostered a sense of unity, but also legitimized the power structures that governed Roman life. The presence of the Lares allowed individuals to invoke divine favor, particularly during critical political gatherings or decisions, reinforcing the idea that their actions were supported by higher forces. Household shrines situated within the domestic sphere played a pivotal role in this dynamic. They served as a daily reminder of the connection between the home and the state, encouraging citizens to uphold their responsibilities to both their families and their leaders. Rituals performed at these altars transformed private devotion into a public spectacle, further intertwining personal faith with the broader socio-political landscape. In this way, the hearth evolved into a symbol of stability, where the assurance of protection by the Lares intersected with the aspirations of civic leadership. This transition marked a profound shift within Roman households, as the embrace of Christianity began to reshape domestic spaces. Symbols of the Lares gradually gave way to new representations of faith, reflecting an evolving spiritual landscape. The once familiar altars, dedicated to ancient guardians, were increasingly adorned with crosses, images of saints, and biblical scenes, embodying a nascent devotion that sought to replace the old order. Household shrines transformed into sites of Christian worship, where prayers and offerings to the Lares were supplanted by supplications to a singular deity. These changes did not occur abruptly. Rather, they unfolded over generations, as families adapted their practices while holding on to remnants of their ancestral beliefs. The hearth remained a focal point, now infused with a dual significance that bridged the gap between old and new. Communal gatherings around the hearth continued, but the nature of these assemblies shifted with the introduction of Christian rites. The collective experiences of sharing meals and celebrating life began to reflect the teachings of the faith, fostering a sense of unity under the banner of a new covenant. The hearth, once a site of traditional pagan worship, became a sanctuary of hope and renewal, symbolizing the resilience and adaptability of human belief in the face of change. The practices surrounding the Roman hearth extended their influence far beyond the borders of the empire, permeating the cultural fabric of subsequent civilizations. The reverence for domestic fires and their symbolic meanings can be traced through the annals of history, as these rituals evolved into various forms of worship and communal gatherings. In many regions, the hearth became a central gathering point, reflecting a shared connection to ancestral heritage and the divine. Later cultures adopted the notion of the hearth as a sacred space where families would gather to share meals, stories, and traditions. Ceremonies dedicated to the protective spirits of the home emerged, often echoing the veneration of the Lares. This reverence was not merely a mimicry, it adapted to local beliefs and customs, fostering new identities while retaining echoes of Roman practices. In medieval Europe, the hearth maintained its status as a symbol of warmth and safety, serving as the heart of the household. Its significance continued through the Renaissance, influencing art and literature that romanticized the domestic sphere. The flame, once a vessel for rituals, transformed into a metaphor for enlightenment and inspiration. Consequently, the legacy of the Roman hearth not only persisted but thrived, shaping the essence of communal life and belief systems throughout generations, transcending time and geography. This region, with its warm glow, served as a focal point for social interaction and communal bonding. Families would gather around the hearth, sharing meals and stories, reinforcing familial ties and cultural traditions. The consistent presence of this element in Roman homes facilitated the exchange of ideas and customs, creating a sense of belonging among individuals. It was not merely a source of warmth or light, it represented a sanctuary where relationships were nurtured and community values were instilled. Visitors to a home would also contribute to the vibrant atmosphere, exchanging pleasantries and fostering connections that extended beyond the confines of the hearth. These gatherings often included shared rituals that honored the Lares, the guardian spirits of the household, further embedding the hearth's significance within the fabric of daily life. The Hearth called the forcible mate amidst the uncertainties of life, embodying both the mundane and the sacred. In times of prosperity, it celebrated abundance. During hardships, it offered solace and hope. The rituals performed here were not solely religious acts, but also affirmed the collective identity of the community. Through these gatherings, the continuity of traditions was ensured, allowing the essence of Roman culture to endure across the ages, reflecting an enduring commitment to unity and shared heritage. Founders officials honoring the Lares served as vital moments of communal reflection and celebration. These events transformed the everyday lives of citizens, allowing them to reconnect with their ancestors and the protective spirits thought to safeguard their households. Rituals were performed at altars, often adorned with offerings of food, wine, and flowers. This practice not only provided sustenance for the Lares, but also reinforced the bond between the living and those who had passed. During these gatherings, the atmosphere was charged with a sense of reverence and gratitude. Families would come together, sharing stories of their forebears, while invoking the spirit's blessings for prosperity and protection. This region, steeped in tradition, saw vibrant displays of music and dance, though these were not the focal points of the celebrations. Instead, the emphasis lay on solemnity and respect for the divine guardians. The passage of time brought changes to the nature of these festivities, integrating elements from wider Roman culture while retaining their original purpose. Rituals adapted, yet the core significance remained untouched, an affirmation of faith in the Lares and a reflection of the community's values. In this way, the festivals acted as a bridge across generations, ensuring that the memory of the deceased would not fade into oblivion, but instead remained a guiding presence within the heart of Roman society. The psychological aspects of domestic worship reveal a profound connection between the individual and the divine. It is within these intimate spaces that the Lares, guardians of the household, invoked a sense of security and continuity. Rituals conducted in their honor offered a sanctuary for the human spirit, allowing families to navigate the complexities of existence. Through daily offerings and prayers, the act of devotion became a form of reassurance, fostering emotional resilience. These practices created a comforting atmosphere where the presence of the Lares served as a reminder of familial bonds and shared history. In moments of uncertainty or hardship, invoking their protection provided solace. This relationship transformed personal spaces into sacred realms, reinforcing the idea that the divine was ever present, watching over the household. The rituals were not merely ceremonial, they were infused with meaning. Each gesture, from the lighting of the household flame to the placing of offerings, represented a tangible connection to the past, instilling a sense of belonging and identity. Over time, these practices evolved into a form of psychological anchoring, where the Lares became symbols of hope and stability amid the vicissitudes of life. This intricate interplay between domestic worship and psychological well-being highlights the enduring significance of these ancient rituals in fostering harmony within the home. On Finiv on Edit, in times of crisis, the rituals surrounding the hearth took on heightened importance, serving as a refuge from external turmoil. These practices often involved offerings and invocations, creating a sacred space that provided comfort and continuity. Such rituals not only honored the Lares, but also reinforced community bonds. As families gathered to participate in shared traditions, the act of lighting a flame or placing a specific item on the hearth symbolized a collective hope for protection and resilience. This sacred space became a focal point for familial unity, where stories were exchanged and ancestral wisdom passed down. The hearth, often positioned at the center of the home, acted as an anchor during periods of uncertainty, reminding individuals of their cultural heritage and the support available from both the living and the spirits of the past. The significance of these rituals extended beyond the physical realm, as they instilled a sense of agency in the face of adversity. Engaging in these time-honored practices allowed individuals to reclaim a sense of control over their surroundings. The act of ritual was thus not merely symbolic, it held practical value, reinforcing social ties and fostering emotional resilience in communities facing challenges. In this way, the hearth remained a vital source of stability, echoing the enduring legacy of the Lares in the fabric of ancient life. The home served as a microcosm of Roman society, reflecting the intricate social structures and cultural values of the civilization. Within its walls, various elements represented both intimacy and hierarchy, illustrating daily life and the relationships that bound families. This environment fostered a sense of community as individuals gathered around essential spaces, engaging in rituals that reinforced their connections to one another and to their ancestors. The layout of these homes often dictated the dynamics of interaction, from the central atrium that welcomed guests to the smaller, more private chambers dedicated to personal pursuits. Each room held significance, embodying the aspirations and status of its inhabitants. It was a space where the warmth of family life mingled with the reverence for tradition as the Lares watched over every gathering. Barter's art decoration also played a crucial role, with frescoes and mosaics that celebrated victories, heritage, and deities, serving as constant reminders of both personal and collective identity. The presence of the Lares in these artistic expressions underscored their protective influence, reinforcing the notion that the home was not merely a shelter, but a sacred setting for nurturing both body and spirit. In this environment, the principles of duty, respect, and loyalty were cultivated, contributing to the stability and continuity that characterized Roman civilization. These guardian deities, the Lares, held a significant place within the rich fabric of Roman mythology. They were often depicted as youthful figures, embodying the vigor of life and the continuity of the family line. This imagery reinforced their role as protectors, ensuring the well-being of both the household and the ancestral spirits that lingered in the shadows of everyday life. Rituals performed in their honor were commonplace. Small offerings of food, wine, and incense graced the household shrines, emphasizing the reciprocal relationship between the living and the divine. In the context of Roman mythology, the Lares were often associated with the Penates, the deities of the pantry and nourishment. This connection highlighted the importance of sustenance in everyday life, intertwining the spiritual realm with the mundane needs of existence. Such beliefs extended beyond individual households, as communities would erect public altars to honor these guardians, showcasing a shared commitment to protection and prosperity. The Lares served as a reminder of the intertwining of personal and communal identities. Their presence was felt not only in the confines of private homes, but also in the public square, where the collective spirit of the people found expression. This harmonious coexistence reflected the values of Roman society, emphasizing loyalty to family, tradition, and the divine. The impact of urbanization on hearth rituals marked a significant transformation within Roman culture. As cities expanded, the intimate connection to the domestic hearth began to shift. Urban living introduced a new complexity, which altered traditional practices tied to family and worship. In densely populated areas, the sacred spaces once dedicated to the Lares became less individualized. The physical separation from the rural hearths diminished the personal element of these rituals. Public altars emerged, catering to a broader community, but this shift often led to the dilution of personal devotion. Individual families found it challenging to maintain their unique practices amid the bustling urban environment. Rituals that once fostered close family bonds became standardized, losing their intimate essence. The Lares, once closely associated with the hearth and home, found themselves relegated to a more collective religious experience. The rise of multi-generational households further complicated the practice of these rituals. With extended families living under one roof, the dynamics of worship shifted. The focus turned toward communal rather than individual veneration, reshaping the role of the Lares within the family unit. Urbanization, while fostering new avenues for connection, created a paradox of disconnection from the deeply personal rituals that once flourished in the serene confines of the home. The sacred fire, a symbol of warmth and protection, flickered amid the changes of the urban landscape. The essence of the Lares extended beyond mere guardianship. It intertwined with the agricultural cycles that sustained the community. These deities, revered for their role in ensuring fruitful harvests, were often venerated through rituals aligned with planting and harvesting seasons. Offerings were made to these protectors, invoking their favor as farmers prepared their fields. This region showcased a profound relationship between spirituality and sustenance, where the fertility of the land was seen as a reflection of divine approval. Seasonal festivals celebrated the bounty bestowed by the Lares, transforming the mundane act of farming into a sacred duty. The act of tilling soil, sowing seeds, and gathering crops was enriched by the belief that these spirits watched over the endeavors of their devotees. Each planting cycle was marked by specific rites, reinforcing the connection between human effort and divine assistance. In the quiet of the fields, the echoes of ancient prayers lingered, harmonizing with the rhythms of nature. The agricultural calendar dictated the communal life, fostering a bond that transcended generations. The Lares, through their enduring presence, not only protected the hearth, but also nurtured the community's bond with the earth. This interplay between the sacred and the practical underpinned the very essence of rural existence, shaping traditions that echoed through time. The representation of the Lares in Roman coins serves as a fascinating reflection of cultural values and societal priorities. Depictions of these household deities on currency not only provided spiritual significance, but also reinforced the connection between commerce and domestic life. Through these images, the Lares emerged as symbols of protection and prosperity, their presence invoking blessings upon both the home and the marketplace. Coins featuring Lares often illustrated them in various forms, sometimes accompanied by agricultural motifs that highlighted the agrarian roots of Roman society. This connection to farming and harvest underscored the belief that these guardians ensured bountiful yields and safeguarded the well-being of families. Each coin served as a talisman, reminding citizens of the divine oversight in their daily endeavors. This practice also reflected the broader Roman approach to religion, where the divine permeated every aspect of life. Engaging with the Lares through currency emphasized the importance of honoring the past while navigating the complexities of daily existence. The imagery conveyed a sense of continuity, linking generations through shared reverence. Under the coins circulated through the empire, they carried not just economic value, but also a cultural narrative, perpetuating the legacy of the Lares and reinforcing their role as pivotal figures in the collective consciousness of Roman society. In this context, women played a vital role in the preservation of hearth traditions, serving as the custodians of family rituals and the embodiment of domestic reverence. They were often the primary figures responsible for maintaining the Lares shrines, ensuring that offerings were made and that the spirits of the ancestors were honored. This act of devotion not only solidified the family's connection to their heritage, but also reinforced their social standing within the community. Through daily practices, women cultivated an environment where the sacred and the mundane coexisted harmoniously. The preparation of meals, particularly those dedicated to the Lares, was a significant ritual, transforming the act of cooking into a sacred homage. Each meal served not just sustenance, but also a means of invoking the protection and favor of these revered spirits. Communal gatherings further intensified this connection, as women often organized and facilitated celebrations that honored the deities and the home. These events fostered a sense of unity, allowing families to collectively express gratitude and maintain their ancestral ties. The quiet strength exhibited by these women ensured the continuity of traditions over generations, shaping societal values and reinforcing the belief that the hearth was not merely a physical space, but a vital source of spiritual sustenance. In this way, their contributions were foundational to the stability of Roman domestic life. The hearth represented not only a physical space, but also a profound symbol within Roman literature. It served as a focal point for stories that explored the complexities of family, duty, and identity. The warmth emanating from this central feature of the home inspired countless authors to weave narratives that reflected the values and aspirations of their society. It became a metaphor for the heart of domestic life, where characters would gather, forging connections that transcended the individual. In these literary works, the hearth often represented a sanctuary, a place where one could contemplate the weight of personal and collective histories. Authors skillfully depicted the significance of fire, its brightness illuminating the shadows of uncertainty and its flickering flames echoing the transient nature of existence. The imagery associated with this element often underscored the delicate balance between the mundane and the divine, allowing the reader to explore the sacredness of everyday life. This space fostered not only familial bonds but also cultural continuity, as stories passed down through generations reflected shared experiences and collective memory. The hearth thus became a powerful metaphor for authorship itself, suggesting that every narrative is rooted in the intimate spaces of human experience, shaped by the interactions that take place around its warmth. Literature flourished in this environment, echoing the values ingrained in Roman culture. The influence of the Lares extended beyond the domestic sphere, permeating the very foundations of Roman legal practices. These protective spirits served as guardians of the household, embodying the moral and ethical values that were integral to societal order. In legal matters, their presence was invoked to ensure justice and fairness, reinforcing the belief that the divine oversaw human affairs. This connection manifested in various legal rituals, where offerings were made to the Lares before significant decisions or actions. The act of honoring these deities symbolized a commitment to integrity, fostering a sense of accountability among citizens. In courtrooms, references to the Lares became a means of appealing to a higher moral authority, thereby legitimizing the proceedings. Their role in legal frameworks underscored the intertwining of faith and governance, highlighting a unique characteristic of Roman society. As the empire expanded, so too did the influence of these guardians. Different regions adopted local variations of the Lares, integrating them into their own legal and cultural practices. This adaptability allowed for a cohesive legal system that resonated across diverse populations. The enduring legacy of the Lares remains evident in the way ethical considerations continue to shape modern legal principles, reflecting a long-standing commitment to justice rooted in ancient beliefs. Through their quiet watchfulness, the Lares reinforced the importance of morality in the ever-evolving landscape of Roman civilization. The rituals of purification associated with the hearth served as a vital mechanism for maintaining harmony within Roman households. These ceremonies often involved the use of specific herbs and offerings, which were presented to invoke the protection of the Lares. The smoke from burning incense would rise, intertwining with the air, carrying prayers and intentions upward. This sacred act not only honored the household spirits, but also purified the space, creating an atmosphere conducive to family unity. Rituals typically began during significant life events, such as births or weddings, marking transitions with solemnity and reverence. In these moments, the hearth became a focal point, a sacred center from which blessings radiated. The family would gather around, sharing stories and memories, reinforcing bonds while invoking the Lares guardianship. Essential elements included the lighting of a small flame, symbolizing the enduring presence of the hearth. The flickering light cast gentle shadows, transforming the room into a sanctuary. Each flicker represented the life force shared among those present, a reminder of the continuity of generations past. The act of purification extended to the physical environment as well, with careful attention to cleanliness and order around the hearth, signifying respect for both the spirits and the home. These practices etched a sense of stability within the chaotic world outside, reinforcing a delicate balance between the sacred and the mundane. The hearth served as a focal point within Roman family hierarchies, embodying both domesticity and authority. This region of warmth and nourishment was not merely a physical space, but also a reflection of familial roles and responsibilities. The pater familias, or head of the household, presided over this central area, symbolizing his control and care over the family unit. It was here that rituals unfolded, affirming the bonds that held the household together. Women, especially mothers, played a crucial role in maintaining the sanctity of this space. They tended to the flames, ensuring that the sacred fire of the Lares remained alight, a task imbued with both practical and spiritual significance. The persistence of this flame was seen as essential for the well-being of the family, reinforcing the maternal figure's position within the hierarchy. Children learned the importance of these rituals from an early age, their participation ensuring the continuity of tradition and familial values. The hearth also functioned as a site for social gatherings, where family members and close friends shared meals and stories. This communal aspect contributed to a sense of belonging and identity, deepening the ties that bound individuals to one another. Within this intimate sphere, the complexities of loyalty, authority, and love intertwined, illustrating the multifaceted nature of Roman life. The Lares, the revered deities of the household, served as guardians of both the home and the afterlife. Their presence permeated daily life, offering reassurance against the uncertainties of mortality. These figures, often represented in small statues, were believed to protect family members and ensure their safe passage into the realm beyond. Rituals conducted at household altars fostered a connection between the living and the departed, underscoring the significance of ancestry within Roman culture. In this sacred space, offerings of food, wine, and incense were regularly presented. Such gestures were meant to honor the Lares and invite them into the domestic sphere. This practice cultivated an environment where the boundaries between life and death blurred, suggesting a continuum rather than a definitive separation. Each ritual reinforced the understanding that the ancestors were integral to daily existence, influencing decisions and providing guidance. The Lares also represented an idealized vision of the afterlife. It was believed that the souls of the departed resided among them, enjoying a state of eternal peace. This belief system encouraged a sense of continuity, comforting those left behind. The reverence for these deities encapsulated a profound relationship with the past and the future, creating a legacy that transcended generations. The essence of the Lares, therefore, was not merely protective. It fostered a holistic understanding of existence itself. Hearth practices evolved significantly throughout the Roman Empire, reflecting societal changes and cultural integration. The hearth itself served as a central point within the home, symbolizing both physical warmth and spiritual safety. This region, often adorned with offerings to the Lares, became a focal area for family gatherings and rituals, reinforcing the bonds of kinship and community. The introduction of diverse rituals accompanied the expansion of the empire, as new territories brought various traditions into Roman life. Local deities were often assimilated into existing practices, enriching the spiritual landscape. This blending resulted in a dynamic interplay of beliefs, allowing the Lares to coexist with other gods, contributing to an expanding network of worship that transcended regional boundaries. In urban centers, the significance of the hearth transformed. Public spaces began to reflect the influence of hearth customs, with communal areas establishing altars dedicated to the Lares. These gatherings encouraged a collective spirit, fostering unity among diverse populations. As the empire matured, the hearth became not just a domestic symbol, but a representation of civic identity. The decline of the empire saw a re-emergence of simpler practices. Individuals sought comfort in traditional hearth rituals, emphasizing personal connection to the past. This return to foundational beliefs highlighted the enduring legacy of the Lares, echoing through time as a testament to resilience and continuity. Archaeological studies of Lararium locations reveal significant insights into domestic spirituality and community life within ancient Roman society. These shrines, often situated within the home or at the entrance, served as focal points for daily rituals. The placement of these structures indicates a profound connection between personal devotion and domestic space, suggesting that the Lares were intimately woven into the fabric of everyday life. Excavations reveal variations in Larium design and size, reflecting the socio-economic status of the households. Larger, more elaborate shrines tend to be found in affluent homes, while simpler versions appear in modest dwellings. The presence of offerings, such as food remnants or small tokens, offers clues about the types of interactions families maintained with their Lares. In some instances, the orientation of Lararia towards specific landmarks or natural features suggests an alignment with broader cosmological beliefs. This careful positioning underscores the importance of place in the construction of both personal and collective identity. Artifacts discovered in proximity to these shrines, such as miniature statues or inscriptions, further illustrate the multifaceted relationship between the living and the divine. Each Lararium stands not merely as a structure, but as a representation of the hopes, fears, and daily routines of those who sought protection and guidance from these revered guardians. The influence of Etruscan beliefs on Roman hearths is profound and enduring. This ancient civilization laid the groundwork for many aspects of Roman spirituality, particularly in domestic worship. The Etruscans revered the hearth as a sacred space, viewing it as the center of the household and a link between the family and the divine. From them, the Romans adopted the practice of honoring household deities, intertwining their rituals with the vital essence of home life. The positioning of the hearth within the domestic sphere speaks to its significance in daily existence. It served as a focal point for family gatherings, meals, and various rites that sought favor from both the gods and the ancestors. Rituals often involved offerings to ensure abundance and protection. These practices became ingrained in Roman culture, reflecting a continuity of reverence for the hearth that transcended generations. Etruscan motifs frequently adorned Roman Lararia, further reinforcing this connection. Imagery depicting domestic deities and ancestral spirits adorned the walls, creating an atmosphere of sanctity. This blending of Etruscan and Roman beliefs enriched the spiritual landscape, allowing for a more complex understanding of guardianship and protection. The hearth served as a focal point for domestic worship, where ancestral spirits, known as Lares, were honored. Within this intimate space, the role of slaves became essential, intertwining their daily lives with the rituals that permeated Roman households. Their responsibilities extended beyond mere maintenance, encompassing the very act of facilitating sacred practices that connected the living with the divine. News, these individuals tended to the flames, ensuring that the fire burned brightly, symbolizing the presence of the Lares. The rituals performed were often simple yet profound, consisting of offerings of food and wine, creating an environment imbued with reverence. In this setting, the act of worship was not solely reserved for the elite. It was a shared experience that included the contributions of those who might have otherwise been overlooked. The physical space surrounding the hearth, adorned with small altars and protective figures, reflected a deeper understanding of community and spirituality. Each offering, each gesture, was a reminder of the interconnectedness of all within the household. In maintaining the hearth, these individuals participated in a legacy that transcended their own circumstances, their efforts echoing through generations. This practice fostered a sense of continuity, providing solace in the enduring presence of the Lares, who watched over the household, guiding both the free and the bound. Military culture in ancient Rome intertwined closely with the reverence for the Lares. These protective spirits not only safeguarded homes, but also extended their oversight to the lives of soldiers. Each soldier carried a small effigy of the Lares, a constant reminder of their connection to both family and duty. This relationship fostered a sense of loyalty, as warriors believed that the Lares would ensure their protection on the battlefield. In the context of military campaigns, the Lares were invoked for guidance and strength. As legions advanced into foreign territories, rituals were conducted to honor these deities, promoting unity and fortitude among the ranks. This practice reinforced the understanding that the Lares existed beyond the domestic sphere, embodying the spirit of Rome itself. Military installations often featured shrines dedicated to the Lares, underscoring their significance in maintaining morale and cohesion. The guardianship attributed to these spirits extended to the fallen as well. Soldiers who died in combat were honored, with their spirits believed to join the ranks of the Lares, watching over their surviving comrades. This belief system created a profound bond between those who fought and the protective forces of their heritage. Through this lens, the Lares served as a bridge between the personal and the collective, embodying the ideals of valor and duty that defined Roman military ethos. The hearth functioned as more than a mere source of warmth. It emerged as a central site for education and knowledge transmission within Roman households. In intimate settings, families gathered around the flickering flames, where stories were exchanged and ancestral wisdom shared. This intimate environment facilitated the passing down of traditions, cultural practices, and moral lessons, deeply embedding them within the fabric of society. The Lares, standing sentinel beside the hearth, reinforced this educational role, reminding individuals of their heritage and responsibilities. Children learned the virtues of piety, loyalty, and respect, often through tales of heroic ancestors whose spirits were believed to linger in the household. Each recounting served not only as entertainment, but as a foundational element in shaping character and societal expectations. Such gatherings also fostered communal bonds, as neighbors and friends would come together, enriching the collective knowledge. This exchange of ideas and experiences transcended generations, ensuring that the values of the past remained alive in the present.
The hearth, therefore, became a vital pedagogical space where the lessons of history were woven into daily life. In cambianturi simplante, and prime of warmth and wisdom, the Lares symbolized the enduring connection between the individual and the community, highlighting the importance of shared knowledge in fostering resilience and continuity. The significance of music and poetry within hearth rituals cannot be overstated. These artistic expressions served as conduits for communal emotions and collective memories. In the flickering light of the hearth, melodies resonated, binding participants in a shared experience that transcended the mundane. This rhythmic element offered a means of both honoring the Lares and reinforcing social bonds among those gathered. Chants and verses, often steeped in historical context, invoked the presence of ancestors, creating a palpable sense of continuity. Their themes, resonating with the struggles and triumphs of past generations, fostered a deep sense of belonging. The act of reciting poetry around the hearth transformed the space into a sacred ground where the spoken word became an offering to the protective spirits. In addition to oral traditions, the sounds of instruments often accompanied these rituals. Simple yet profound, the notes from stringed or wind instruments filled the air, enhancing the atmosphere of reflection and reverence. Rhythm and harmony interplayed with the crackle of the fire, creating a backdrop that invited introspection. Through these rituals, the hearth evolved into a sanctuary where the vibrancy of cultural identity was preserved, allowing the Lares to guide and protect the community through the ages. This dynamic interplay of sound and spirit reinforced the essential ties between the past and the present. Cultural exchange flourished across Roman provinces, creating a rich mosaic of hearth practices that transcended regional boundaries. This shared tradition fostered a profound connection among diverse communities, reflecting their unique adaptations while embracing common elements. Rituals surrounding the hearth served as a social anchor, where families gathered not only for warmth but also for the transmission of stories and customs. In distant provinces, local deities often intertwined with the veneration of Lares, the household guardians revered in Rome. This blending of beliefs resulted in distinctive practices that maintained the essence of Roman spirituality while incorporating indigenous elements. In some regions, offerings were made to both Lares and local spirits, creating a duality that honored ancestral ties and regional identity. Food preparation rituals also advanced through these exchanges. Techniques such as communal cooking emerged, enhancing social bonds while emphasizing the importance of shared meals. Each region contributed its flavors and ingredients, leading to a culinary landscape that was both familiar and foreign. Artifacts unearthed from archaeological sites reveal the diversity of hearths. From simple clay structures to elaborate stone constructions, they embody not only the physical space for cooking and warmth, but also the intimate gatherings that fostered community cohesion. These practices highlight the enduring impact of cultural exchange on everyday life within the vast expanse of the Roman Empire. The act of hearth worship served not only as a spiritual refuge, but also as a reflection of the socio-political landscape. It was within these sacred spaces that familial bonds were strengthened and communal identities forged. The Lares, revered as protectors of the home and family, became integral to the fabric of Roman society, representing unity amidst diversity. This devotion fostered a sense of loyalty to both family and state, intertwining personal faith with the overarching imperial narrative. In many instances, the domestic sphere functioned as a microcosm of larger political structures. Rituals performed at the hearth were often accompanied by offerings, symbolizing not just piety but also allegiance to the Roman state. This connection between personal devotion and civic duty illustrated how religion could be utilized as a tool for social cohesion. The communal worship of Lares across different regions facilitated interactions between diverse cultures, promoting a shared identity that transcended local customs. Political leaders recognized the significance of this worship, often endorsing religious practices to consolidate their power. By aligning themselves with the veneration of the Lares, they reinforced their authority and fostered a sense of stability. The hearth thus emerged as a site of both spiritual significance and political relevance, illustrating how sacred practices could shape and be shaped by the complexities of governance and societal structure. The evolution of hearth practices signified a profound transformation in the cultural landscape. With the rise of Christianity in Rome, these sacred spaces began to integrate new rituals and beliefs. The once venerated Lares, guardians of the household, gradually yielded their prominence to the figure of Christ and the saints. This shift reflected a broader adaptation, where the hearth remained a central element of domestic life, now infused with Christian symbolism. Within Christian homes, the hearth retained its function as a gathering place, fostering community and familial bonds. Candles and icons replaced offerings to the Lares, transforming the space into a sanctuary of devotion. This transition did not erase the past. Instead, it layered new meanings onto existing practices, weaving together centuries of tradition with freshly established tenets of faith. The physical structure of the hearth also underwent subtle changes. It became a place for prayers, with the flames serving as a metaphor for divine presence. Rituals around mealtimes adopted a distinctly Christian flavor, emphasizing gratitude and the sanctity of shared meals. The transformation underscored an ongoing dialogue between the old and the new, highlighting how belief systems evolve while retaining essential cultural elements. In this way, the hearth continued to embody both domestic tranquility and spiritual connection, adapting gracefully to the shifting tides of faith and community. With the decline of Roman authority, interpretations of the Lares emerged in various cultures that inherited these vestiges of belief. In the wake of this transformation, the essence of these guardian spirits evolved, melding with local traditions and customs. The Lares, once revered in the household, began to take on new forms, reflecting the diverse spiritual landscapes that followed the fall of the empire. In villages and towns, they were often associated with the spirits of ancestors, bridging the past with the present. This region became a sanctuary, where communal rituals honored not only domestic safety, but also collective memory. Offerings were made not just to appease these spirits, but to foster a sense of belonging amid the uncertainties of an increasingly fragmented world. With a shift in focus, the Lares were integrated into the broader pantheon of local deities, infusing them with new meanings. They became symbols of resilience, embodying the hope for protection and prosperity in challenging times. As communities navigated the complexities of identity and belief, these reinterpretations allowed for continuity amid change, creating a space where ancient traditions could coexist with emerging narratives. The enduring legacy of the Lares illustrates the intricate relationship between culture and spirituality, revealing how ancient practices adapt to the ever-evolving human experience. This connection between the Lares and the hearth exemplifies the significance of domestic spaces in later Roman society. The hearth served not merely as a source of warmth and nourishment, but also as a focal point for familial and communal identity. Its flames flickered in rhythm with the lives of those who gathered around it, embodying the essence of Roman domesticity. Within these intimate confines, rituals unfolded, reinforcing bonds among family members and affirming their shared heritage. The hearth represented a microcosm of the greater Roman state, where the virtues of duty, loyalty, and piety were celebrated. Families took great care to maintain the sacred fire, believing it safeguarded their lineage and prosperity. This practice extended beyond individual homes, influencing public spaces and communal gatherings, where collective identity was nurtured through shared traditions. As the empire expanded, so too did the role of the hearth in representing national identity. It became a unifying symbol amidst a diverse populace, fostering a sense of belonging among various ethnic and cultural groups. The hearth's significance transcended mere functionality. It encapsulated the values of resilience and continuity that defined Rome. In this way, the Lares, in their guardianship of the hearth, embodied the enduring spirit of Roman civilization, intertwining the past with the present in a narrative of survival and adaptation. Modern interpretations of ancient Roman culture often reflect the multifaceted nature of the Lares. These protectors of the household have transcended their original roles, evolving into symbols that resonate with contemporary ideals of safety and continuity. Artistic representations frequently depict them as benevolent figures, embodying the essence of home and familial bonds. This perception highlights a communal yearning for stability amid the complexities of modern life. In literature and film, the Lares serve as metaphors for guidance and support. Their presence evokes a sense of nostalgia, drawing connections to a time when domestic sanctuaries were enveloped in ritual and reverence. This fascination reveals a broader cultural appreciation for heritage, as societies seek to anchor themselves within historical narratives. The Lares remind individuals of the importance of place, memory, and shared experience. Architectural designs often incorporate elements inspired by the Lares, subtly integrating them into homes and public spaces. These interpretations foster environments that promote tranquility and reflection. The enduring legacy of these figures is evident in how contemporary society prioritizes connection to the past while navigating the intricacies of modern existence. Each representation invites contemplation of the role of guardianship in daily life, affirming that the spirit of the Lares continues to thrive, guiding individuals through the ages. Hearth remnants serve as tangible connections to the daily lives of ancient individuals, offering profound insights into their domestic practices and rituals. These structures, often composed of stone and clay, reveal the technological advancements of the time, illustrating how fire was harnessed for warmth, cooking, and social gatherings. Archaeologists meticulously excavate these sites, noting the arrangement of materials and the carbonized remains of past meals, which highlight the dietary habits and culinary traditions prevalent in various regions. The geographical distribution of these hearths indicates patterns of settlement and migration, providing context for understanding cultural exchanges between communities. Each discovery contributes to a broader understanding of social dynamics, as hearths often acted as focal points for family gatherings and communal activities. The presence of specific artifacts, such as pottery and tools found in proximity to these hearths, offers further evidence of daily routines and the technological prowess of the inhabitants. These remnants also embody the spiritual dimensions of life, intertwining practical functionality with sacred significance. Rituals performed around the hearth may have included offerings to the Lares, reinforcing the belief in their protective presence. This duality of utility and reverence highlights the importance of these structures as not merely physical spaces, but as vital components of the cultural and spiritual identity of ancient peoples. The evolution of domestic space in Pompeii and Herculaneum illustrates a nuanced relationship between architecture and daily life. Homes within these cities were not solely shelters, but reflections of status, family dynamics, and social interactions. Each dwelling exhibited a unique arrangement of rooms, often centering around an atrium that served both as a gathering area and a conduit for natural light and ventilation. The placement of the hearth within these spaces was significant, symbolizing warmth, nourishment, and the heart of family life. In Pompeii, evidence suggests that homes evolved to embrace more elaborate designs, integrating features such as peristyles and gardens, promoting an indoor-outdoor lifestyle. These elements created sanctuaries for leisure and socialization, blurring the boundaries between private and public spheres. The presence of frescoes and mosaics further enriched these environments, turning walls into canvases that celebrated mythology and daily scenes, inviting contemplation and admiration. Herculaneum, with its more compact structures, offered distinct insights into urban living. The preservation of organic materials provides a rare glimpse into domestic practices, revealing the intimate details of daily routines. The compactness of the living quarters fostered close-knit communities, with communal spaces enhancing interactions. This interconnectedness highlights a shared cultural identity amidst the architectural diversity, demonstrating how domestic spaces shaped not only individual lives, but also the collective ethos of these ancient cities. The Lares served as guardians of the household, embodying the spirit of ancestors and the essence of familial continuity. Their presence was deeply woven into the fabric of everyday life, guiding rituals and celebrations within the sacred confines of domestic spaces. During Roman festivals, the veneration of these deities transformed communal gatherings into acts of devotion, reinforcing bonds among family members and neighbors alike. The festivals often featured offerings and sacrifices laid at altars dedicated to the Lares, with participants engaging in prayers and libations. These rituals not only honored the deceased, but also sought blessings for prosperity and protection. Such gatherings reflected the broader societal values, emphasizing gratitude and remembrance, which transcended individual households and united the community in shared reverence. Traditional festivities, such as the Perilia and the Lemuria, highlighted the importance of the Lares. The Perilia, celebrating the founding of the city, involved cleansing rituals and the lighting of bonfires, symbolizing renewal and the safeguarding of agricultural prosperity. The Lemuria, a time for appeasing restless spirits, reinforced the connection to the ancestral past, where the Lares served as mediators between the living and the dead. These observances created a cycle of continuity, ensuring that the essence of the Lares remained a vital part of Roman life, fostering a sense of peace and security amid the uncertainties of existence. This connection offered a psychological safety. Anchored by the familiar presence of the hearth, it served as a center of warmth and light, a focal point within the home where families gathered. This region held not only physical sustenance but also spiritual nourishment, fostering bonds between generations. The flickering flames symbolized protection, embodying the spirits of the Lares, who were believed to safeguard the household. Ceremonies performed at the hearth reinforced this atmosphere of safety. Offerings of food and wine were made to the Lares, ensuring their favor and presence. These acts were not merely rituals. They acted as affirmations of familial unity and continuity. The hearth was a sanctuary, a place where worries faded and hope blossomed. In times of distress or uncertainty, the act of tending to the hearth became a grounding ritual. The rhythmic motions of adding wood and stoking the fire provided a therapeutic reprieve. It offered a sense of control over one's environment, an antidote to the chaos that life often presented. The Lares, in their ever-watchful roles, became an integral part of this emotional landscape. Their presence transformed the hearth into a symbol of stability, reinforcing the belief that protection and comfort were always within reach. Thus, the ancient Romans found solace in the enduring embrace of their heritage. The hearth served as a vital element in the context of Roman hospitality, symbolizing warmth and refuge. It was not only a source of heat and light, but also a gathering point for family and friends. This central feature underscored the importance of communal bonds, with visitors welcomed into spaces that radiated comfort and security. In these environments, a shared meal transformed mere sustenance into an expression of generosity. The act of breaking bread around the hearth fostered connections, strengthening ties between host and guest. It was a ritual steeped in tradition, where offerings made to the Lares reflected gratitude and respect for both the divine and the human. The atmosphere surrounding the hearth was enriched by the aromas of cooking, the laughter echoing off the walls, and the flickering shadows cast by the flames. Each gathering created a sense of belonging, reinforcing the cultural fabric of Roman life. Ceremonies often centered around this space, marking significant occasions and honoring ancestors. The hearth became a sacred site, imbued with a sense of continuity between generations. Within these confines, the past and present converged, creating a living narrative that anchored the community. Through this lens, the hearth transcended its physicality, embodying the essence of Roman identity and hospitality. The intersection of climate and geography shaped the practices surrounding the hearth in ancient Rome. Varied landscapes influenced the materials sourced for construction, from clay and stone to timber. This region, with its diverse environmental conditions, dictated the design and function of the hearth, adapting to both urban settings and rural homesteads. In coastal areas, proximity to the sea introduced distinct culinary practices, where fish and shellfish became staples cooked over open flames, while inland communities focused on grains and livestock. Seasonal changes further dictated hearth activities. In winter months, the hearth served as a vital heat source, transforming communal spaces into warm refuges. The act of gathering around the fire fostered social bonds, reinforcing the importance of familial and communal ties. Conversely, warmer months encouraged outdoor cooking, enhancing interactions with the surrounding landscape. Uthalati, Marthishan Azishan Iniwituogs, also played a role in shaping these practices. Trade routes facilitated the introduction of new cooking techniques and ingredients, broadening the culinary repertoire. As influence spread, so did the symbolic significance of the hearth, reinforcing its role as a focal point in daily life. These dynamics illustrate how the ancient Romans harmonized their environmental context with their cultural traditions, with the hearth remaining a steadfast symbol of protection and unity amidst an evolving landscape. The Lares served as catalysts for social cohesion within Roman society, embodying the collective spirit of the community. These deities were not merely objects of worship. They represented the familial bonds that anchored daily existence. Shrines dedicated to the Lares often adorned household spaces, reinforcing a sense of belonging and shared identity among residents. Rituals performed in their honor acted as communal affirmations of faith and gratitude, further intertwining personal and collective experiences. And honoring ancestors, the presence of these protective spirits was palpable. Streets and public squares frequently featured altars, fostering a communal atmosphere where citizens gathered for festivals and rites. This shared veneration contributed to an enhanced sense of unity, as individuals from varied backgrounds participated in collective observances. The Lares became a symbol of stability amid the chaos of urban life, reminding citizens of their interconnectedness. The reverence for these deities extended beyond the household into broader civic life. In times of crisis, such as during military conflicts or disasters, the Lares were invoked for guidance and protection. This act of seeking favor from the divine underscored the importance of these spirits in promoting resilience as guardians of both home and community. The Lares facilitated a profound understanding of interdependence, weaving together the very fabric of Roman identity. Ancient hearth traditions resonate across various cultures, revealing shared human values surrounding home and kinship. In many societies, the hearth symbolizes warmth, sustenance, and the gathering of family. This central space fosters a sense of belonging and nurtures communal ties, much like the role of the Lares in the Roman household. Within the context of the Greek household, the hearth was sacred to Hestia, the goddess of the hearth. This divine presence underscored the importance of fire as both a physical necessity and a spiritual anchor. Communities often gathered around this essential element, establishing a similar bond to that found in Roman customs, where the Lares provided protection and identity. In the indigenous traditions of North America, the concept of the hearth transcends mere physical structure, embodying the spirit of the people. Ceremonial fires serve to unite individuals, reinforcing social cohesion and cultural heritage. These parallels highlight a universal appreciation for the hearth as a crucial element in societal structure, bridging past and present. Even in contemporary contexts, the significance of the hearth remains evident. Modern households still prioritize communal spaces, fostering connections among family members. This enduring legacy reflects an intrinsic human desire for security and togetherness, continuing the ancient practices that shaped civilizations, including that of Rome. Crafts and trades emerged as fundamental aspects of hearth worship, intertwining the everyday lives of individuals with their spiritual beliefs. Artisans dedicated to creating offerings and household goods contributed to the sanctity of the hearth, transforming mundane objects into vessels of devotion. Each crafted item, be it clay figurines representing the Lares or intricately woven textiles, served a dual purpose. They not only fulfilled practical needs, but also acted as conduits for reverence and gratitude. Local craftsmen revered the hearth as a sacred space, believing that their labor infused the home with blessings. This connection fostered a sense of community. As tradespeople collaborated to support each other in their rituals, the act of creation became a shared experience, strengthening social bonds while honoring the divine spirits believed to inhabit the domestic sphere. The shared belief in the protection offered by the Lares encouraged a vibrant exchange of ideas and resources among these artisans. Ceremonial practices often included the use of these crafted items, reinforcing their significance within the household. Ritual offerings placed upon the hearth, accompanied by prayer and gratitude, illustrated the importance of acknowledging both the material and spiritual realms. Through this intricate relationship between crafts, trades, and hearth worship, the essence of family and community was preserved, echoing through the corridors of time. The hearth served not only as a spiritual center, but also as a critical node within the economic framework of Roman life. It functioned as a communal space where essential activities converged, connecting families with their local economies. This area became a site for food preparation, where the fruits of labor from fields and markets were transformed into sustenance, solidifying its role in daily survival. Craftsmen often gathered near these hearths, exchanging skills and materials. This proximity fostered collaboration, allowing trades to flourish in a supportive environment. Potters, blacksmiths, and weavers, among others, relied on the warmth and light provided by the hearth, enabling them to extend their work hours into the evening, thus enhancing productivity. As goods were produced and consumed in this setting, the hearth became a symbol of economic stability. Families shared resources, ensuring that no one was left in isolation. The act of sharing meals around the hearth reinforced social bonds and made economic transactions more intimate and personal. This intimate environment contrasted sharply with the bustling markets of Rome, where transactions were often impersonal. The hearth radiated a sense of continuity and security, reminding individuals of their roots amidst the vast complexities of urban life. In this way, the ancient Lares were not merely guardians of the home but also custodians of communal prosperity. The representation of the Lares in Roman theatre reveals their integral role in the cultural psyche of ancient society. These deities often appeared in performances, symbolizing the bond between the individual and the collective. By embodying the spirits of the household, they connected the audience to deeper themes of heritage, identity, and stability within the ever-evolving Roman landscape. In various productions, actors would invoke the Lares, drawing attention to their protective presence during domestic rituals. This practice served to reinforce the belief that the Lares not only safeguarded the physical realm, but also nurtured a sense of belonging among citizens. Their portrayal often reflected the societal values of loyalty and devotion, resonating with the audience's understanding of family and community ties. The staging of these performances frequently utilized props and symbolic gestures to emphasize the Lares' importance. Offerings of food and small household items would be presented, illustrating gratitude for the blessings bestowed. The audience would witness the intersection of the divine and mundane, reminding them of their daily lives' sacred nature. Through these theatrical representations, the Lares transcended mere mythology. They became a vital aspect of Roman identity, illustrating how deeply rooted beliefs in ancestral spirits influenced not only personal lives, but also the broader cultural narrative. The presence of these figures served as a reminder of the interconnectedness of existence, both past and present. Contemporary spiritual practices often draw inspiration from ancestral traditions, with the Lares embodying an enduring connection to the past. These protective deities, once revered in domestic and communal spaces, continue to influence modern rituals and beliefs. Individuals seeking guidance and comfort may invoke the Lares finds, integrating their essence into personal altars adorned with symbolic offerings, creating a bridge between ancient veneration and contemporary spirituality. The notion of guardianship persists, as many practitioners emphasize the importance of honoring those who came before. This region, rich in heritage, sees the Lares invoked during significant life events such as births, marriages, and transitions. Their protective spirit fosters a sense of security amid change, echoing the sentiments of ancient Roman households. Communities often gather to celebrate festivals that pay homage to these figures, weaving traditional practices with modern interpretations. This collective remembrance creates a space for reflection and unity, reinforcing the idea that the Lares transcend time and cultural boundaries. Expressions of gratitude and reverence can be observed in varied forms, including rituals that involve offerings of food, flowers, and prayers. In this way, the legacy of the Lares continues to permeate the spiritual landscape, reminding practitioners of their enduring role as protectors and guides throughout the ages. Ritual serves as a vital mechanism for fostering communal identity, uniting individuals under shared beliefs and practices. These ancient observances, often centered around the Lares, facilitated a collective experience that transcended the individual. They provided a framework for social cohesion, allowing participants to find common ground in their reverence for the guardians of the household. Communal gatherings formed around these rituals, reinforcing bonds among families and neighbors. Each offering, each chant, became a thread in the fabric of local tradition, creating a collective memory that sustained the community over time. this environment nurtured shared values, ensuring that the significance of the Lares remained embedded within daily life. The act of coming together for these ceremonies transformed mere spectators into active participants, each contributing to the continuity of their culture. This engagement brought with it a sense of belonging, a reassurance of the protective presence of the Lares, which helped to mitigate uncertainties in an ever-changing world. Each ritual was a reaffirmation of identity, a subtle resistance against the forces of time and change. In this manner, the legacy of the Lares was not only one of guidance, but also a catalyst for unity, reinforcing the threads that bind a community together, even as the echoes of the past lingered in the spaces they once inhabited. The hearth, a focal point within domestic spaces, served as a crucial venue for political discourse. Discussions often emerged amidst the warmth and flickering flames, providing a sense of intimacy that encouraged open dialogue. This environment fostered a platform where ideas could be exchanged freely, allowing both influential leaders and common citizens to engage in matters of governance and community well-being. These assemblies were characterized by a diverse array of participants, reflecting the varied perspectives within society. Each voice contributed to a collective understanding of communal needs and aspirations. The hearth became an arena for debate, where decisions were not merely imposed but shaped through consensus, demonstrating the power of shared spaces in democratic processes. Critical issues such as resource allocation, defense strategies, and civic responsibilities were deliberated around this central fixture. The warmth radiating from the fire served as a metaphorical beacon of unity, symbolizing the shared commitment to the greater good. In times of crisis, these gatherings became even more vital, reinforcing solidarity among citizens as they confronted external challenges together. As night fell and shadows danced across the walls, the hearth continued to illuminate the path toward communal resilience, echoing the voices of those who sought to uphold traditions while navigating the complexities of a changing world. The significance of these conversations remains a testament to the enduring role of the hearth in shaping societal values. Influences from ancient hearth practices resonate through the corridors of modern architecture. The warmth generated by these communal spaces laid the foundation for contemporary designs that prioritize gathering and connection. Architects today draw inspiration from the Roman hearth, incorporating open layouts that promote interaction among occupants. This focus on shared environments reflects the same principles that governed ancient living. Design elements often mimic the circular formations of traditional hearths, fostering a sense of unity and belonging. Materials chosen for modern constructions echo those of the past, with stone and clay serving not only functional purposes, but also enhancing the aesthetic appeal. These choices pay homage to the simplicity and durability that characterized Roman structures. Energy efficiency, another aspect rooted in ancient practices, has become paramount. The careful placement of windows and the use of thermal mass hark back to techniques developed centuries ago, ensuring comfort within living spaces while minimizing resource consumption. Sustainable materials further align with these historical values, emphasizing a respect for the environment. The influence extends beyond mere structure. Cultural gatherings and rituals surrounding the hearth have been reincarnated in modern contexts, emphasizing the significance of the shared experience. This legacy transcends time, illustrating how ancient practices continue to shape societal norms and architectural philosophies in the present day. These rituals served as both a spiritual and educational framework within Roman society, Through the act of honoring the Lares, individuals were imparted with lessons of familial duty, respect for ancestors, and the sanctity of the home. This central gathering place, often characterized by a small altar, became a site for the transmission of values across generations. Each ceremony reinforced the importance of community, weaving together individual identities with collective memory. Participants would engage in offerings, sharing food and drink, thereby solidifying bonds among family members, while fostering a sense of continuity and shared purpose. The rituals were not merely religious observances. They were foundational experiences steeped in historical significance. Each interaction at the hearth transformed the domestic space into a microcosm of societal expectations, where children learned the intricacies of their cultural heritage. The role of the hearth extended beyond the physical realm. It was a philosophical anchor. It exemplified the ideal of hospitality, the importance of nurturing relationships, and the balance between personal and communal responsibilities. As such, these practices were instrumental in shaping character and moral integrity, guiding individuals in their actions and decisions within the broader context of Roman life. Over time, the hearth emerged as a symbol of stability, embodying the interconnectedness of personal and collective journeys. Cultural heritage thrives on the principles embodied by the Lares. AVHD, the interconnectedness of personal and collective journeys. Cultural heritage thrives on the principles embodied by the Lares, extending their influence far beyond ancient Rome. These household deities represented not just protection, but also the essence of community, binding individuals through shared values and traditions. In contemporary society, the reverberations of this ancient belief system manifest in various forms, from urban spaces to familial gatherings. Restoration efforts of historical sites often invoke the Lares as a reminder of the significance of place and memory. This region, rich with remnants of past lives, invites ongoing reflection on the importance of heritage in maintaining cultural identity. The enduring legacy of the Lares fosters a sense of belonging, encouraging individuals to engage with their surroundings meaningfully. Cultural events frequently highlight these themes, reaffirming the connection to ancestry and the collective spirit. Festivals, reenactments, and communal rituals serve as modern-day tributes, reinforcing the importance of continuity. The Lares, Afashables, as guardians of domestic life, remind communities of their roots and the values inherent in shared history. These remnants of the past continue to inspire contemporary interpretations of protection and care for both personal and communal spaces. This ongoing dialogue between past and present emphasizes the importance of nurturing cultural landscapes, ensuring that the essence of the Lares remains alive in the hearts and minds of future generations. The Roman hearth encapsulates profound symbolism, acting as a sanctuary for familial bonds and community spirit. It serves as a reminder of shared histories and collective identities, rooted deeply in the rituals surrounding daily life. This space, once vibrant with the warmth of flames, represented more than mere sustenance. It was a conduit for the sacred and the mundane. In the flickering light, individuals found not only nourishment but also a connection to their ancestors. The Lares, guardians of these hearths, continue to embody protection and prosperity. Their presence signifies the enduring nature of human connections, transcending time and space. Each offering made in their honor reinforces a bond, echoing the sentiments of reverence and gratitude that have persisted through centuries. These remnants of ancient life stand resilient against the passage of time, The hearth remains a focal point of remembrance, a place where stories are shared and traditions are passed down, weaving a continuous thread of cultural identity. The preservation of such spaces becomes crucial in maintaining an awareness of history, fostering a sense of belonging in an ever-changing world. As societies evolve, the essence of the Roman hearth and the Lares endures, reminding us of the significance of community, memory, and the quiet strength found in shared heritage.